Why do people keep asking what is Bitcoin backed by? The Bitcoin network backs itself as it is the most secure database network in the world. Bitcoin is a new asset that was created back in 2009. It has been the hardest asset since its inception and has outperformed every other asset class.
Crypto and digital assets in the U.S. has got a market cap of around $1.1 trillion right now. It's been there for a bit. Do you acknowledge that this asset class has staying power in the U.S. economy?
It appears to have some staying power. Of course, that 2.1 trillion was, what was that a year ago? A lot higher.
Yeah, it's had some volatility in large measure due to the lack of legal clarity. And so hopefully this committee will help that quite a lot here this summer with at least two bills, one on stable coins and one on market structure. And it'll be clear not just for Congress, but for regulators, including Chairman Gensler, and obviously market participants, whether they're forming the ideas or investing in the ideas or participating in the activities.
Yo family, welcome back to the channel. Aaron here, coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video. If you're new, please consider subscribing. We have new videos coming out every single day. And in today's video, we'll be checking out a lot of the most recent news for Bitcoin and crypto, including some fundamental analysis, some technical analysis, and some different charts and clips. So make sure to watch to the end. A lot of interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. As you can see, the narrative is starting to change. Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, says that crypto and Bitcoin have staying power. And he also said the Federal Reserve sees stablecoins as a form of money. And I think the U.S. government wants to regulate stablecoins fairly because stablecoins back a lot of the crypto market and it brings demand for the U.S. dollar. And we can start to see a trend change here in the politicians. They're talking more fairly of cryptocurrency. It's looking like they want to regulate this and they don't want to ban any of this innovation happening in the Bitcoin or crypto space. And people are starting to pay attention. Just the other day, when Bitcoin broke above $30,000, Bitcoin actually decoupled from the NASDAQ, from the S&P, and the traditional stock market. As you can see, Bitcoin was up 5% on the day, while the other top NASDAQ stocks were down 2 to 5%. This is something we have not seen in the past a lot. Bitcoin has been very correlated to the NASDAQ. This is good to see in the short term that Bitcoin is starting to uncorrelate from the NASDAQ. And I think this is just due to people starting to understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto and Bitcoin and these traditional assets, how Bitcoin is that safe haven. And you can see it reflected in the price here. And I think going forward, we'll continue to see this trend change, Bitcoin becoming more and more uncorrelated with the S&P and the NASDAQ. And then check this out here. This is the subreddit stats for the Bitcoin subreddit. And as you can see, there's been more and more subscribers here over the past week. When Bitcoin broke out, went over 30K, the amount of users went parabolic from 4.97 million users all the way up to around 5.5 million users. So more people are starting to understand what Bitcoin is. They want to learn about it. They're joining the community. This is definitely good to see for Bitcoin. It can definitely affect the price going forward. And then along with all of the new members that are coming into the Bitcoin space right now, we have the promises of a potential Bitcoin ETF coming from BlackRock. And if that comes, we could potentially see some huge price gains because look at what happened when the gold ETF launched back in 2004. The price of gold went parabolic and went on an 8-year run, even during a recession after 2008. So if the Bitcoin ETF comes out, we could see a massive multi-year bull market for Bitcoin going forward. It's definitely something to watch out for and pay attention to. There have been a lot of companies that have filed for ETFs for Bitcoin here over the past week, and I think that we could really see one get accepted from the SEC later this year. And then I wanted to share this clip with you, the former CEO of Barclays giving his thoughts on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and check it out here.
We got about a minute left. I don't know if we've ever talked about crypto with you. You're an old line, old-fashioned banker type, Barclays, Lehman. Does it surprise you, BlackRock now talking about it? It doesn't? But you see those other three, Citadel, Charles Schwab,
crypto is such a broad term, but if you narrow it down to the digitization of so much of what we're doing, it's a natural course. Joe, for me, regulation, regulation, regulation. Stop avoiding it, regulators, and start regulating it and help us out. And I think, you would have heard me say this during 2008 when I was at Barclays. Strong banks want strong regulation. For any positive impact of crypto or digitization, we need regulation and we need clarity. And I love seeing some of the more mainstream firms get involved here, like BlackRock. And BlackRock, we worked with them on Circle, where they're an investor in Circle and we're an investor in Circle. It's a digital payments company, and I knew how much BlackRock saw in terms of the future of Circle. And I'm not surprised that they're more involved now in crypto more broadly.
You buy any Bitcoin? Never? Never have.
Sadly, no.
Sadly.
You asked, my partner and I were on this show a couple of years ago, and you asked, and my partner, David Seamus, has been an investor from the beginning and is a believer that some small percentage of your net worth belongs there. I've never followed to my...
So as you can see right there, a lot of the bankers are starting to get into Bitcoin, and they're starting to be believers. And as you can see right here, the IMF paid $45 billion to prevent the banks in Argentina from using Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is actually hitting a new all-time high in Argentina, not because the value of Bitcoin is going up, but because the value of the Argentine peso is going down. They're experiencing hyperinflation. And you can see Bitcoin's at all-time highs in countries like this. They need Bitcoin now more than ever. And the IMF paying them $45 billion is not helping anything. It's time for a lot of these countries to opt out, do what El Salvador did, and put matters into your own hands. And you can do that with Bitcoin. And then I wanted to share some technical analysis here with you. This is from the Titan of Crypto. He says Bitcoin is getting ready to melt up. On the monthly chart, LMACD finally crossed bullish. Although June is not finished yet, these bullish crosses occur on very few occasions throughout the history of Bitcoin and are very significant. You can see that right down here. This green trend line is crossing over this yellow. And every single time it does that in the past, we start to see a small bull cycle. We're also seeing Bitcoin break out of this trend line that we've seen very similarly in the past. So we can definitely see some more price gains for Bitcoin going forward this year. And here's another interesting one from the Collector of Sats. He says your stocks aren't getting more valuable. The currency is becoming less valuable and the stock market is getting absorbed by the monetary premium. The correlation of the S&P 500 and the US debt is 95.8%, and the correlation of the S&P and the M2 money supply is 96.2%. Highly correlated. And you can see this right here, the M2 supply, debt, and the S&P. It looks very similar how they trend in the same fashion. If the debt started to come down, if the M2 money supply started to come down, the S&P would probably come right down along with it as the monetary supply gets tightened. But that's all I had for you guys here in today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button. Leave your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. Definitely love to hear from you guys. My name is Aaron from the Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.